Step out of the vehicle. Now.
Did I do something wrong?
I'll ask the questions. You fit a description.
What description? I was just driving home.
Huh, sure you were. Hands where I can see them.
I'm just asking.
One more word and you're going in cuffs. Your choice.
Officer Martinez had no idea what he just walked into. In the next 8 minutes, his badge number would be flagged by Internal Affairs. His body cam footage would go viral with 4.2 million views. His routine stop would trigger a federal civil rights investigation. The quiet man he was threatening, a decorated Army Ranger with 12 years of service and 2 tours in Afghanistan. James Richardson was not just any driver. He was a Purple Heart recipient. He was a Bronze Star holder. He was a military police instructor at Fort Bragg. He taught proper traffic stop procedures to new MPs. He knew the law better than most lawyers, and the officer's body camera was capturing everything, every illegal command, every rights violation, every second of what would become evidence of unlawful arrest. Before I continue, let me ask you, have you ever been treated unfairly by someone in power? Drop your answer in the comments. But Officer Martinez had no idea who he just pulled over. Staff Sergeant James Richardson was 34 years old. He worked as a senior military police instructor at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. He had served 12 years in the U.S. Army. He was part of the 75th Ranger Regiment. That's an elite special operations unit. He did 2 combat tours in Afghanistan, one in 2014, another in 2017. James earned a Purple Heart. That means he was wounded in action in 2017. He earned a Bronze Star with Valor. That's for heroic service under fire. Now he taught traffic stop rules to new military police officers. He trained over 800 MPs. He was an expert witness in 3 federal cases about police conduct. James lived 4 miles from the gym where he trained every morning at 6 a.m. He drove a 10-year-old Honda Civic. Nothing flashy, just practical. People in his community knew him as quiet and respectful. He had never been arrested. He had no complaints filed against him. Local police who knew his background respected him. On this Tuesday morning, in March 2024, James was just trying to get home after his workout. He had no idea his knowledge and calm would be tested in the worst way. Officer David Martinez, badge number 4187, had a different kind of reputation. Martinez was 29 years old. He worked 4 years with Fayetteville Police Department as a patrol officer, but here's the problem. He had 17 complaints filed against him in just 4 years. Every single complaint said the same thing: aggressive conduct during traffic stops, all in neighborhoods with mostly black residents. Let me give you 3 examples. In 2021, Martinez stopped a black woman. He accused her of suspicious behavior for reaching for her registration. He did a pat-down that she said was too aggressive. She filed a complaint. Internal Affairs said Martinez followed policy. In 2022, Martinez stopped a Latino man near the same area. He held him for 45 minutes, said he matched a description. Turned out the description was for someone 6 inches shorter, different car model. The man filed a complaint. Internal Affairs said Martinez used reasonable judgment. In 2023, Martinez stopped a black jogger. He said the jogger looked nervous. He demanded ID even though joggers don't legally need ID. The jogger filed a complaint for harassment. Internal Affairs said no policy violation. Other officers called Martinez Cowboy Martinez behind his back. He was known for aggressive stops, thin reasons, confrontational attitude. He had been sent to training twice, once for de-escalation, once for bias training. He openly mocked the training to his colleagues. Type accountability. If you think 17 complaints should mean something, let me know in the comments. This happened on Tuesday, March 12, 2024. The time was 6:47 a.m. The location was Bragg Boulevard and Morganton Road in Fayetteville, North Carolina. It's a residential area 2.3 miles from Fort Bragg's main gate. It was early morning, light traffic, people driving to base for 7:30 formation. The temperature was 52 degrees, overcast skies. A coffee shop on the corner was just opening. A few people walked on the sidewalk. James left Planet Fitness at 6:42 a.m. after his usual workout. He was driving his 2014 Honda Civic, clean record, current registration. His route home was a straight shot, 4.2 miles, normally took 8 minutes. He followed the speed limit of 35 miles per hour, no traffic violations. He kept his military ID, driver's license, and insurance in his center console. At 6:47 a.m., Martinez's patrol car pulled behind him. Lights on. James's dashcam captured his reaction. "What the?" he said. He pulled into a well-lit gas station parking lot. Smart move for safety. He put the car in park, turned off the engine, put his hands on the steering wheel at 10 and 2. His dashcam showed him waiting calmly, not reaching for anything. Martinez approached the driver's side. His body cam was on. His hand stayed near his weapon. He didn't call for backup. His posture was aggressive. Tense shoulders, harsh tone. He opened with a command, no explanation. If stories like this matter to you, hit subscribe. Martinez said, "License and registration, now." James said calmly, "Can you tell me why you pulled me over, officer?" Martinez said, "I said license and registration. Are you refusing to comply?" James said, "No, sir, I just want to know the reason for the stop. That's my legal right." Martinez said, "Your legal right is to do what I tell you. You fit a description of a suspect." James asked, "What suspect? What description?" Martinez said, "Black male, dark clothing, this area. That's all you need to know." James said, "I'm coming from the gym. I'm happy to provide my ID, but with respect, you need reasonable suspicion for a stop." Martinez's voice got louder. "I don't need a lecture from you about reasonable suspicion. Step out, now." James asked, "Am I being detained or arrested?" Martinez said, "You're about to be if you don't get out of that car right now." James said, "Officer, I'm a military instructor at Fort Bragg. I'm not resisting, but I need to understand." Martinez interrupted, "I don't care if you're the Joint Chiefs. Out of the car." James said, "I'm respectfully asking what crime you suspect me of." Martinez said, "Obstruction, that's the crime. You're obstructing my investigation." James said, "I haven't obstructed anything. I've been cooperative. Your body cam will show." Martinez cut him off. "Oh, you know about body cams? That's cute. Hands on the dashboard now." James put his hands out, stayed calm. "My hands have been visible the entire time." Martinez said, "Don't get smart with me. You think you know the law." Then something happened. The gas station attendant came to the window. His name was Marcus Webb. He was 52 years old. He said, "Officer, is there a problem? I know this guy. He comes here every morning, never any trouble." Martinez said, "Sir, step back or you'll be arrested for interference." A customer named Sarah Kim pulled out her phone. She was 41 years old. She started recording. She said, "This doesn't look right." Martinez noticed the camera. He said, "Ma'am, put that away or I'll take it as evidence." Sarah said, "You can't do that. This is a public space." Martinez's hand moved to his taser. James's dashcam captured him saying, "Officer, please don't make this worse. I'm not resisting." Martinez said, "You're making me do this. If you just followed orders." James said, "I've followed every lawful order. I'm asking for clarification, which is my constitutional right." Martinez said, "Constitutional right? Where'd you get your law degree? The internet?" Now here's what happened next. The time was 6:54 a.m., 7 minutes into the stop. A second patrol car pulled up. It was Sergeant Lisa Okonkwo. She was a 15-year veteran. She was Martinez's supervising sergeant. She had been listening to the radio. She heard Martinez's stop location. She knew it was his problem zone. She pulled up and looked at the situation. Calm driver, hands visible, people recording. Martinez looked angry. Sergeant Okonkwo said, "Martinez, step back. What's the reason for this stop?" Martinez said, "Suspect matching description, Sergeant. He's been non-compliant." Okonkwo looked at James. He was still calm in his car. She said, "Non-compliant how?" Martinez said, "Refusing to exit vehicle, questioning my authority, obstruction. Okonkwo said to James, "Sir, can you step out please? I'd like to sort this out." James said, "Yes, ma'am." He got out calmly, hands visible. Then he said something that changed everything. "I'm Staff Sergeant James Richardson, Fort Bragg MP instructor. I've been cooperative. I asked for the reason for the stop, which is my right under Terry v. Ohio. I was told I fit a description, but given no specific facts." Martinez laughed. "Oh, so you are a lawyer?" James said, "No, sir. I teach traffic stop law to military police. I've been teaching it for 6 years." Okonkwo's face changed. She said, "You're the MP instructor. You testified in the Davis case last year." James said, "Yes, ma'am. Federal civil rights case about improper arrest." Okonkwo turned to Martinez. "What was your reasonable suspicion?" Martinez said, "Black male, dark clothing, this area. Dispatch put out a bolo 20 minutes ago." Okonkwo checked her radio log. She said, "Martinez, that bolo was for a black male, 5'6", red hoodie on foot, 6 blocks north of here. This man is 6'1", in a vehicle wearing gray, going the opposite direction." Then the witnesses spoke up. Marcus Webb, the gas station attendant, said, "Sergeant, I've seen this gentleman every morning for a year. 6:45, always after the gym, never any issues." Sarah Kim, still recording, said, "I have the whole thing on video. He asked why he was stopped. The officer got aggressive immediately." A man named David Torres walked up. He was an attorney. He said, "I'm a lawyer. I watched this from my car. There was no reasonable suspicion for this stop. 4 cameras were recording everything. Martinez's body cam showed the whole thing from his view. James's dashcam showed his calm response and visible hands. Sarah Kim's phone had 4 minutes of footage. David Torres' phone had 2 minutes. The gas station security cameras caught it all on wide angle." Martinez started to panic. He said, "Sergeant, I was following protocol. He was acting suspicious." James said calmly, "Acting suspicious how? By asking questions. That's protected speech." Okonkwo said, "Martinez, did you run his plates before the stop?" Martinez paused. "I observed suspicious behavior." Okonkwo said, "That's not what I asked. Did you run the plates?" Martinez said, "No, Sergeant, I observed." Okonkwo cut him off. "So you had no prior information, just a visual assessment?" Martinez said, That's enough for reasonable suspicion if." Okonkwo said, "If there are specific facts, what were they?" Martinez tried to backtrack. "Look, Sergeant, if I made a mistake in the description, fine, but he was being difficult." James said, "Ma'am, your body cam and mine will show I answered every question, kept my hands visible, and asked only for clarification. That's not obstruction." Martinez said, "You were lecturing me about the law." James said, "I stated my rights. Respectfully, that's not a crime." Type justice if you think James handled this perfectly. The time was 7:02 a.m. Sergeant Okonkwo reviewed Martinez's body cam footage right there. She watched the opening exchange, James's calm questions, Martinez's anger. She checked dispatch logs. The bolo description didn't match. Wrong height, wrong clothing, wrong location, wrong mode of transport. She made her decision in 3 minutes. She said, "This stop is over. Mr. Richardson, you're free to go. I apologize for the inconvenience." Then she turned to Martinez. "Martinez, return to the station. You're suspended pending review." Martinez said, "Suspended? Sergeant, I was doing my job." Okonkwo said, "You started a stop without reasonable suspicion. You got angry when the subject used his rights. You're done here." At 7:08 a.m., Okonkwo called the watch commander. She explained the situation. At 7:15 a.m., Internal Affairs was notified. That's protocol for any suspension. Now Martinez had to write a report, but his story fell apart. Martinez wrote, "Subject matched bolo description, showed furtive movements, refused to obey lawful orders." But the evidence told a different story. The bolo said 5'6", red hoodie on foot. James was 6'1", grey gym clothes in a vehicle. The dashcam showed James's hands on the wheel the whole time, no furtive movements. The body cam audio showed James asked questions but never refused orders. Martinez wrote, "Subject became verbally aggressive and confrontational, requiring use of force preparation." But the evidence disagreed. The body cam audio showed James stayed calm. He said, "Yes, sir," and with respect. All witnesses said James was eerily calm and respectful. Martinez's voice got louder on the body cam, not James's. Martinez wrote, "Used officer safety procedures due to subject's suspicious behavior in high-crime area." But the evidence proved him wrong. The stop location was a residential area, low crime rate, morning commute time, no traffic violation was observed. Martinez didn't even claim one. He didn't run the plates before the stop. That would have shown a clean record. His claim about a high-crime area, that was the same area where 14 of his 17 complaints came from. At 7:45 a.m., the watch commander reviewed everything. Martinez was suspended with pay while they investigated. At 8:30 a.m., Fort Bragg MP command was told. That was a courtesy because James was their instructor. At 10:00 a.m., Fayetteville PD Public Affairs prepared a statement. They knew people would ask questions. Martinez tried to defend himself. He told Okonkwo, "This is wrong. You're throwing me under the bus for doing my job." He told the IA investigator he was suspicious. "I had a gut feeling, that's experience." He told his union rep, "They're making an example of me because he's military." James drove home 45 minutes late. He called his commanding officer. He explained what happened, professional courtesy. His co said, "You handled it perfectly, write down everything." James wrote a 4-page report, timeline, witness info, zero emotion. Marcus, the gas station attendant, gave James his contact info. "Call me if you need a witness." David Torres, the attorney, handed James his card. "No charge consultation if you pursue this." By 8:00 a.m., Martinez sat in an IA interview room. By 8:30, Fort Bragg looped in their legal team. By 9:00, James was teaching his scheduled class on constitutional limits of traffic stops. He used this morning's incident as a case study. But the real storm was coming, because at 9:47 a.m., Sarah Kim uploaded her video to Twitter. The caption said, "Fayetteville cop threatens decorated Army Ranger with arrest for asking why he was pulled over. He teaches police how to do stops legally. This is what he gets." Within an hour, it had 50,000 views. By noon, it would crash the department's phone system. If you believe officers should be held accountable, hit that subscribe button. We're going to keep covering stories like this. At 9:47 a.m., Sarah Kim hit upload. Her 4-minute video went to Twitter. It showed the full audio. Martinez's anger, James's calm responses, Sergeant Okonkwo stepping in. She added a caption, "Fayetteville cop threatens decorated Army Ranger with arrest for asking why he was pulled over. He teaches police how to do stops legally. This is what he gets." By 10:15 a.m., 28 minutes later, the video had 50,000 views. It had 2,400 retweets. Local Fayetteville accounts started sharing. Military community accounts picked it up. They said, "One of our own." A hashtag started trending locally, "Justice for SSG Richardson." By 11:00 a.m., the video hit 280,000 views across platforms. David Torres, the attorney witness, posted his footage. He added a legal breakdown. He wrote a Twitter thread, "I'm a defense attorney. Here's why this stop was unconstitutional." It was 12 tweets long. It explained Terry stops, reasonable suspicion, and the Fourth Amendment. His thread went viral too. By 12:30 p.m., the video reached 1.2 million views. It was trending nationally. Veterans groups shared it. IAVA shared it. VFW shared it. Concerned Veterans for America shared it. Active duty service members reshared it. They said, "This is what our instructors face." News outlets started watching. NBC and CBS local teams reached out. By 2:00 p.m., the video hit 2.8 million views. It was the #1 trending topic in North Carolina. CNN picked up the story. The headline said, decorated veteran threatened with arrest during traffic stop. Fayetteville PD's phone system got overwhelmed. They received over 600 calls in 2 hours. The department spokesperson posted a statement. "We are aware of the incident and conducting a full review." By 6:00 p.m., the video reached 4.2 million views across TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Evening news broadcasts covered it, local and national. Fort Bragg issued a statement. SSG Richardson is a respected instructor with an excellent record. Martinez was identified by name on social media. That was against platform rules, but it spread anyway. By midnight, the video had 6.7 million combined views. International coverage started. BBC picked it up. CBC picked it up. Al Jazeera picked it up. Legal analysis videos appeared. Why this stop violated the Constitution. Officer Martinez's previous complaints surfaced. Local journalists reported them. The top comment on Twitter got 89,000 likes. It said, "He literally teaches cops how to do this right, and they still couldn't handle him knowing his rights." Another comment got 62,000 likes. "The fact that he stayed this calm while being threatened tells you everything about his training." Another got 71,000 likes. "Martinez has 17 complaints and still has a badge. This is the problem." Comment below, do you think this video changed anything? Let me know what you think. On March 18, 2024, 6 days after the incident, James Richardson filed a federal lawsuit. He had an ACLU lawyer and a private civil rights attorney. He sued Officer David Martinez personally. He sued Fayetteville Police Department. He sued the city of Fayetteville. His claims were simple. Fourth Amendment violation, that's unlawful stop and seizure. First Amendment retaliation. The stop got worse after James asked questions. Equal protection violation. Martinez had a pattern of stopping black drivers. Supervisory liability. The department knew about Martinez's pattern and did nothing. James asked for $2.5 million in damages. From April to July 2024, they gathered evidence. A subpoena revealed Martinez's full complaint history. 17 complaints, 14 in the same neighborhood. 15 involved black or Latino drivers. Department emails showed supervisors knew about the Martinez problem since 2022. Training records showed Martinez scored poorly on de-escalation and constitutional law. GPS data from his patrol car showed he spent 73% of his patrol time in mostly black neighborhoods. The district was only 42% black. Previous IA investigations all ruled Martinez was within policy despite clear patterns. The city did the math. If the case went to trial, they would lose. James was a decorated veteran, credible, sympathetic. The video evidence was bad for the defense. The pattern evidence showed the department knew and did nothing. A jury in a military town would likely side with the veteran. A potential verdict could be $3 to $5 million plus attorney fees. Settlement would be cheaper. It would avoid setting a precedent. It would limit the damage. On June 15, 2024, the city offered $875,000. James's team countered with $1.5 million plus policy reforms plus Martinez's firing. On July 22, 2024, they reached a settlement. Here's what. James got $1.35 million total, $850,000 in compensatory damages, $500,000 in punitive damages. Martinez was personally liable for $50,000 of that. The city covered the rest. Another $425,000 for attorney fees and costs. The total payout was $1.775 million. Here's what happened to Martinez. He was fired for cause, no severance, no chance of being rehired. He lost his law enforcement license. The state board reviewed his case. He became unable to work in law enforcement in North Carolina. Wait until you hear the policy changes the city had to make. GPS tracking data would be reviewed monthly. They would check for patrol pattern problems. Traffic stop data would be tracked. Race, location, how long, outcome, public reports every quarter. Body cam footage would be randomly reviewed by a civilian board. An early warning system was created. 3 complaints in 12 months triggers automatic review. training was overhauled. 40 hours per year on constitutional policing and bias training. An independent monitor would oversee everything for 3 years. They report to a federal court. Martinez faced criminal charges too. The state investigated him for deprivation of rights under color of law. In August 2024, he was charged with misdemeanors, official oppression, false imprisonment. In October 2024, he took a plea deal, 2 counts of official misconduct, 18 months probation, 200 hours community service, permanent criminal record that bars him from future law enforcement, security, or government jobs. The North Carolina Criminal Justice Standards Commission revoked his license in September 2024. He was added to the National Brady List. That's a database of officers with credibility issues. His future testimony in any case can be challenged because of his misconduct. Martinez tried a public apology in September 2024. He posted a video. "I made mistakes, but I'm not racist." It got 94% downvotes. Comments were turned off. He tried to get hired as a security guard. He was rejected after a background check. Reports say he now works a warehouse job in a different state. On September 18, 2024, James Richardson gave a speech. The location was Fort Bragg MP Training Auditorium. The audience was 240 new MP students, 18 instructors, and Fort Bragg command staff. It was his annual lecture called Constitutional Policing and Your Oath. It was his first public speech since the settlement. James said this, "For 47 days after that morning, I couldn't drive without checking my mirror every 10 seconds. I'm a combat veteran. I've been shot at in Afghanistan, and a traffic stop gave me anxiety. That's what unconstitutional policing does. It doesn't just violate your rights in that moment. It takes your sense of safety forever." He continued, "I teach you that the badge is a responsibility, not a shield. The moment you forget that, the moment you see a citizen using their rights as a threat to your authority, you've lost the point." Officer Martinez saw a black man in his neighborhood and decided that was enough. It was. It never is. And I teach you the law so you never make his mistake. James had a message for service members. You will face officers like Martinez, maybe not as obvious, maybe not as public, but you'll face them. Know your rights. Stay calm, follow lawful orders, question unlawful ones, and record everything. My dashcam saved me, your phone might save you. He had a message for future MPs. When you graduate and pin on that badge, you'll have power most people never have. You can arrest people, you can use force. That power is supposed to protect people, all people, not control them. The Constitution isn't a suggestion. It's your operating manual. Violate it, and you're not a guardian. You're a tyrant with a badge. James said what he wanted. I don't want Officer Martinez's life destroyed. I want him to be an example, proof that accountability is possible. I want departments to stop protecting bad officers until they make national news. I want 17 complaints to mean something before the lawsuit, and I want black drivers to stop being pulled over for fitting a description when the only description is their skin. He thanked people. To Sergeant Okonkwo, thank you for doing the hard thing. To the witnesses who recorded and testified, you gave me justice. To my command, thank you for standing behind me. And to everyone watching that video, your anger mattered. It forced accountability. Keep demanding it. His closing words were powerful. My oath says, I'll defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Officer Martinez became a domestic threat to my constitutional rights the second he pulled me over without cause. I defended myself the only way I could, by knowing the law better than he did. But no one should have to be a legal expert to drive home from the gym. That's the America I'm still fighting for. The auditorium erupted in applause. James's case expose. A bigger problem. Black drivers are 20% more likely to be stopped than white drivers. That's according to Stanford's 2023 research. Black drivers are searched 2.5 times more often, but white drivers are more likely to have contraband, 32% versus 21%. Fitting a description is abused. The DOJ found it cited in 64% of stops, later ruled unconstitutional. Descriptions are often too vague. Black male, dark clothing, this area. That could describe millions of people. Officers with misconduct records stay employed. A 2024 database shows 85,000 officers with misconduct records still work. Officers with 10 or more complaints, only 2.1% get fired. The average complaints before discipline is 12.7. James had advantages most people don't: legal knowledge, military credibility, media attention, money to sue. Most drivers in his position have none of these, and they never get justice. So let me ask you, do we live in a country where knowing your rights is treated as a threat? Do we accept a system where 17 complaints means nothing until the 18th one goes viral? Do we believe a decorated combat veteran should need a law degree, a dashcam, and 4 million views to avoid being arrested for driving home from the gym? Because if we don't fix the accountability gap, if we don't address the pattern of unfair stops, if we don't train officers that the Constitution applies even when someone asks questions, then we're just waiting for the next Officer Martinez, the next Staff Sergeant Richardson, the next viral video that changes nothing. Comment below if you believe officers should face automatic review after 3 complaints. If you think stories like this matter, hit that subscribe button. We're going to keep exposing these patterns. We're going to keep demanding accountability. We are going to keep fighting for a system where your rights don't depend on your ability to go viral. This isn't just about one officer who lost his badge or one veteran who got justice. It's about all of us and whether we are willing to accept a system where fitting a description is enough to ruin your morning or your life. See you in the next one.